And so that's why I start this presentation by saying that we need to be self aware. How many hours a day do you have? Everybody has 24 hours. So make sure that some of those 24 hours are being used to learn this language. Of course, we need to take into account that we already use some of this time for sleeping, for going to work, and all these other activities. But I still ask you to take some time to see how much time you have that's going to be only for sitting down and practicing the language of your choice. So, is there a difference between management versus maximization? And so, perhaps there is a difference, and we need to recognize that in order to maximize the productivity that we have when it comes to language learning, we need to also know how to manage our time well. I used to be the type of person that never had a journal, never wrote anything down because I thought I could just memorize everything and remember everything without any of those things. However, I realized, and I had to learn it the hard way, that you need to manage your time and sometimes you need to write it down. Actually, not sometimes, most of the times, we are going to need to make sure we plan ahead and we need to put that into writing. So, definitely learn how to manage your time. And that's what I'm going to share with you here. So, how many hours a day you have to use the language? How many hours, right? And I don't want to get overwhelmed by thinking that you need to have lots of hours. It could only be 10 minutes a day. As long as you realize that time matters. And it's not about using lots of hours, it's about doing it consistently. And in order to build that habit, you need to start small. And so instead, think of minutes instead of hours. So, how many minutes a day you have to use the language, right? As I mentioned before, we already use some of this time to sleep, to go to work, to do so many activities. But we're going to take a few minutes from our busy lives and use it to learn this language. That's why we are here for in the first place. So it needs to be a priority. How many hours you have left after sleep, work, and school? So we already know that those things are a given. We need to sleep, we need to go to work, some of us are in school. So after doing all those priorities, right? Because these are supposed to be the things that we do no matter what. So how many hours you have left after doing all these activities? Sleep is about 6 to 8 hours. Work maybe another six. That's like 16 hours. Work or school. So you still have some time, right? After 16 hours, you have 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. You still have 8 hours to decide what you're doing. Most of us, we don't have that realization. And so we waste our time doing nonsense. So realize that you still have like 8 hours. Yeah, you can play video games, you can watch TV, but try to maximize that time by doing these activities in the language of your choice, in the language that you're learning. So if you watch TV, instead of watching all the same shows in your language, watch them in the language that you're learning. If you play video games, change the language so that you're playing those video games in the language you're learning. Your phone. I talk about how when I was first learning English, I changed the settings from Spanish to English. So all these little things that you can do. as long as you realize that time is a factor and you need to be using this time productively for learning this new language. How can you use these 8 hours to maximize your learning progress? See, we decided that we have 8 hours left. So, how are we going to maximize these 8 hours so that we make the most of it? When exactly can you maximize these activities? When is it first thing in the morning that you have maybe an hour to spare? Maybe after you're finished with work and school, but I don't usually suggest to leave it for the end because that's when you are the most tired. So perhaps you can watch TV or watch movies, at the end in your new language, but the activities that you really need to focus on, which are speaking and writing, should be done in the first few hours of the day. Well, not hours, minutes, right? So you only need like 10 minutes. Do 5 minutes of speaking and 5 minutes of writing, just writing sentences about what you want to accomplish that day, the things that you did yesterday, anything, phrases that you remember. So it doesn't take a long time, but you need to know when you're going to do it. Usually, and what I suggest is to do it first thing in the morning. What does your ideal language day look like? So imagine that you have all the time available in a day to practice this language. What does that look like for you? How are you going to What are you going to be doing that day that's going to make it so wonderful for learning this language? Maybe you're talking to a friend, from the country, from the country where you plan on going to practice this language. Maybe you feel like writing that day. So you have to think, what is the perfect day for me when it comes to learning this language? What are the activities that I would be doing if it was perfect? So how do you want your week to go? And start planning, like, what days this week am I going to be sitting down to really consume the information in this language, and really practice. So you need to plan ahead. You know what they say, right? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So it all starts here, guys. You just have to know that if you have the intention, you will put more effort into making it happen. So just have that idea and plant that idea in your mind. I think I skipped one. Sorry, guys. What will you write on your language to do list? So, what will you write on your language not to do list? So, what are the things that you are going to do in this language? And you write them down. So, I'm going to write one sentence a day. I'm going to listen to music every day in this language. I'm going to make a video of myself speaking in this language, just saying a few phrases. So you write those things down so you know that those are the things that you are going to be doing. And you also write a not to do list. So perhaps I'm not going to be watching any TV show in other language that is not the one I'm practicing. See, you are being really specific about what you want, and you're bringing clarity into your reality. And the more clear you get on what you want and what you won't tolerate, the better. So have clarity on the things that you want to accomplish every single day with this language. Write down the things that you want to do, and write down the things that you don't tolerate, that you don't want to do. So how long do these four language activities take you all together? So I talk about how there are four language activities that we should always be practicing every day: speaking, writing, reading, and listening. So how long do these four activities take you all together? So maybe you use 10 minutes, well actually 5 minutes each, right? So you practice 5 minutes of speaking, 5 minutes of reading, 5 minutes of um, listening, 5 minutes of writing. And so just again clarity, like I said. So if you know it's going to take you, the four combined are going to take you about 45 minutes, then at least you know, okay, 45 minutes is all I need every day. So when can I get it done? Is it going to be first thing in the morning? Is it going to be at night? If listen, if you are a night owl, that's fine, you can do it at night. Just remember that you will be more tired, more worn out towards the end of the day. Whereas if you do it in the morning, you'll have all the energy, right? So it's all about self-awareness, as we started this presentation saying. So know how much you're gonna invest every single day in this language. If you're starting off, I suggest only 10 minutes, or maybe 30 minutes. Take it one step at a time, baby step it. When do you have more time during the day? When do you I guess I keep coming back to this idea because it's that important, guys. So you have to know when. Again, my suggestion is first thing in the morning. See, and what do you have now? Again, well, I guess I'm just repeating myself because I made this presentation last month and I'm just presenting it now. So you have clarity, and clarity is really fundamental. Even for the reason that you're learning this language, you need clarity for staying the course. You need clarity to stay the course and keep on going regardless of the obstacles that will inevitably come up. Anything that we want to accomplish that's worth having takes time and takes effort, because otherwise everybody would have it, right? That's why it's awesome to be able to speak a foreign language, because not everyone can do it. And the people that can is because they've put in the time and effort. So, and clarity is going to help you. So now you have clarity. And so the only remaining thing for you to do is to take action now. Start taking action, stay consistent. Don't overwhelm yourself. That's what I say. If you're beginning, if you're just starting, then take it easy. Baby step it. 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes. Well, I guess 5 minutes will be too little time. So do 5 minutes per activity. So 5 minutes of writing, 5 minutes of speaking, 5 minutes of listening, and 5 minutes of reading. And see, that's 20 minutes. So you have 20 minutes a day. I mean, everybody has 20 minutes, but since we don't program our schedules, we don't manage our time, then it's like we don't have time. So it feels like we don't have time sometimes, but we do. It's all about just managing yourself, managing. People talk about managing time. It's more about managing yourself. So manage yourself and have clarity on how you're going to be learning this language and when, more specifically, you're going to be practicing it every day. I think that's about it, guys. So that's the presentation that I made for you for time management for language learning. So hope this was helpful. We'll see you next time.